What if I told you that I've been secretly using a really interesting keyboard for about 2 months? I feel like I've been cheating on my Logitech G915 with this, the EPOMaker Ceedo V65V2. It's a 65% keyboard with some really interesting quirks. Are they a deal breaker or a deal maker? Let's find out. The Ceedo, is it like Sea-Doo jet skis or Ceedo as in, I don't know. Let's just go with the jet skis. Spoiler alert, the Ceedo V65V2 isn't typically what I would consider a deal maker for me, since the size of the keyboard is usually not my cup of tea. But what I would say is there is an exception. There's actually quite a few exceptions with this keyboard, but let's get the keyboard nerd stuff out of the way because I'm not a keyboard guy. I can appreciate nice things, and the Ceedo V65V2 is a nice thing. The overall design and construction is really solid. The keyboard itself weighs around 1,320 grams, or whatever that is in freedom units, I don't know. It's about 119 millimeters wide, 320 millimeters long, and around about 45 millimeters high. Overall, a pretty average size 65% deck. The keyboard feels quite dense when you pick it up, and you can probably use this thing as a weapon in a zombie apocalypse, maybe. The included cable is a USB Type-A to Type-C cable and can be used to either charge the V65V2's 3000 mAh battery or to use this as a wired keyboard. The V65V2 also has Bluetooth built in, so you can pair it with either a Mac or a PC, and you can pair this thing with up to three devices in total, and I use this here with Bluetooth on mine on my Mac for non-gaming purposes because that's how I was primarily using it. And I did game on this thing, but we'll come back to that. The key word here is was. Not because I used it on a Mac though. The jet ski also has per key RGB lighting and it looks fine. In the box you'll find a key pulling and switch removal tool, and that's basically it. It's got a few other little bitties, we'll come back to those. This is a very simple keyboard that does keyboard things very simply. The top side of the deck is made from aluminium, or aluminum in the free world. There's quite a bit of deck flex when you're giving it a really good beating, and I don't need to know what you do in your spare time. I think that's to do with the fact that this keyboard is gasket mount, and gaskets be gasketing, am I right? Did I really write that? Why? The form factor of this keyboard is nice too. As mentioned, it's around 320 millimeters long and 119 millimeters deep, and the spacing is really nice, and the ergonomics feel pretty well thought out, and if it wasn't, I wouldn't have used it for such a long time on the DL. The legend on each of the PBT keycaps is nice and easy to read, and the keys themselves are relatively grippy. Grippy is good, slippery is bad, especially when wet. Wait, what? What am I talking about? Anyway, speaking of wet, because it's a jet ski, right, in the water. The Ceedo V65V2 is very nice to type on, and those lubed switches feel pretty lubed. Lubemobile ad. Did I actually write in to add the Lubemobile ad here? Call 133032. The V65V2 uses Quark matte switches, and to be honest, I like them. They sound pretty great and feel pretty great to type on. They're a linear switch, and overall, they're not terrible. Let's take a listen. The switches are hot swappable, which means you can put whatever switches you like in the V65V2, provided they're either a 3-pin or 5-pin switch. Is there any other type of pin layouts on switches? I don't know. I'm not a keyboard guy. There are so many options with switches, and the rabbit hole goes as deep as you want it to go, and so does the money pit. Remember, I'm not a keyboard guy, I like nice things. Back to those Quark matte switches though, they have a south-facing LED layout and they come with diffusers in the box, so if you want to add a bit more of a muted look, you can do that. It's completely up to you. Not only is there lube switches, there's a big, giant knob. But this video isn't about me, this is about a keyboard. Big knobs aside, this big giant knob can do things that I can't do. It can change the volume and mute your stuff, and that's because I just can't be silenced. Ever. Despite what Claire thinks. Ever. You're just not gonna shut me up. As far as battery life, it's hard to say. I charged it when I pulled it out of the box, and I haven't charged it since. With frequent daily usage, it's been around like 35 or 40 days with no illumination. I think that's pretty decent, but as usual with anything with a battery in it, your mileage may vary, and as far as with illumination, I think it's hard to say, but it also depends on the pattern or the brightness. Yeah, I can't say for sure. Again, your mileage may vary here. And while we're talking about illumination, you have some options here. There are a few options which can be controlled by using a combination of the function key and an array of other keys, much like every other RGB keyboard you've seen without really tight software integration. You can set a pattern, you can set colors, brightness, saturation, or do what I do. Turn it off and save yourself some power while you're using Bluetooth. The V65 V2 can be customized in other ways too, using a combination of the function keys to switch between Windows and macOS modes. The keys have legends on them as well, so you don't need to switch keycaps if you're using this on a Mac or a PC or vice versa. There's also some customizable firmware biddies, but we're not covering that in this video because I'm lazy and I got shit to do, fam. Don't at me. Okay, that's most of the technical things out of the way. The fact is, most keyboard videos feel like they're a bit too technical, and I get that keyboard enthusiasts love that, but what about people who just want a nice keyboard without wanting to go down the custom keyboard rabbit hole? Who just wants an off-the-shelf pre-built keyboard like me, but you can't buy me, ever. Here's why. When you buy a keyboard, you're usually buying it to fit into a predetermined budget or to suit your typing and gaming style, as well as the features that you want and a style that suits either your current or planned setup. That's basically all of the variables, and this is actually where an off-the-shelf custom keyboard can excel. There's a lot of options when it comes to keyboard, and the V65 V2 could be one of those options. But I haven't really talked about what I think about this keyboard yet, right? I've kind of touched on it. From a content creation and general usability standpoint, which is my primary use case, this jet ski over here, it's pretty usable. The only thing I miss is the numpad on this side and the function keys at the top, but as per usual when you're buying keyboards like this, ladies and gents, you know what you're getting yourself into, so you know you don't have that from the jump. For gaming, this keyboard's pretty spot on. I didn't feel like it impacted my playstyle or my ability to be bad at FPS games, and you can follow us on Twitch. Is that all of them to say squad white?
He's up on the roof, I just tagged him.
Alright.
Oh.
Nick, yo, will you climbing ladders? That's fine.
Eat shit. I stream quite a bit over there. Good old in-video self-promo. That never really hurt anyone, did it? Also, subscribe here too. It doesn't hurt you, it does hurt me though. And if you don't want me to feel pain, hit the subscribe button. You're actually doing yourself a big old favor. And yeah, I'm not usually this much of a dickhead in videos, but I just feel like being a dickhead today. And if you do want me to feel pain, you got bigger problems, but sub anyway. The brass tacks it is then. All jokes aside, I really like the EpoMaker Sea-Doo V65 V2. And I'm gonna come out and say it, and people are gonna definitely disagree with me because, you know, it's the internet and everyone has a conflicting opinion in 2023. But I think EpoMaker have nailed this keyboard. The design is unique enough to make it individual. While there are plenty of other keyboards out there that look like this, I think the V65 V2 is great to type on. Ergonomically, it's spot on. And the V65 V2 is overall a yes from me. And I'd have to recommend it. It's as simple as that. But that's not the end of it though. The real icing on the lubed giant knob-sized cake is the price. It's going for around 129 US dollars at the time of filming this video. Not sure what that is in Aussie dollars, but I'm gonna say around 250. And as mentioned before, I'm not a keyboard expert, I'm just a guy who knows a shitload about computers and hardware and all the super technical sides of things, who likes to make it easy for you guys to understand all that stuff. And I also happen to not know a shitload about keyboards, but you know, I like nice things and I like nice things to type on. And I think that's all that matters. Buy it, don't buy it, I don't care. I like this keyboard and I think you're gonna like it too. Let us know in the comments what you think about the EpoMaker Sea-Doo V65 V2. You already know how I feel about this thing. I like it. And it's nice and it's interesting. And if you guys like this video, you know, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Do you like the music? I make all of that. If you didn't like this video, I can't force you to do anything. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek, and yeah, the algorithm's definitely gonna hate this one too, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching. Love you all very much. Yeah, follow us on Twitch. I'm playing a bit of games over there these days, so do that or don't. I don't care. Thanks for watching.